The American M270 MLRS, or Multiple Launch Rocket System, is one of the most powerful rocket systems in NATO's arsenal. Adopted by the US and Western Europe in the 1980s, it was developed to counter the overwhelming superiority of Soviet rocket launchers. Armed with 12 lethal rockets with a range of over 40 kilometers that can deliver over 8,000 M77 munitions to a combat zone in less than 60 seconds, the powerful all-terrain armored platform based on the M2 Bradley vehicle has seen combat in many different wars. This sight may have been the last thing enemy combatants saw and heard during the Iraq War before a rain of fire lit up the daytime sky. Multiple Launch Rocket System. During the last decade of the Cold War, the Soviet Union fielded more rocket artillery systems than all the United States and NATO forces combined. This was not unexpected, as the Soviets were no strangers to rocket artillery. Going back to World War II, the Stalin's Organs rocket launchers had become a standard Red Army asset to overwhelm the enemy, and multiple rocket launchers, such as the BM-21, had left a significant impression during the following years. In contrast, the United States military decided to focus more on powerful cannon artillery to preserve ammunition and be more accurate when targeting a hostile area. Then, in 1975, the US and NATO decided that it was time to develop an effective rocket system that could be pitched toe-to-toe against the multiple Soviet MRLs, and the Army issued a request to develop a General Support Rocket System, or GSRS. The objective was to produce an effective rocket system that could be used to provide support fire for ground forces, engage hostile air defenses, and conduct counter-battery fire. West Germany, France, the United Kingdom, and Italy were already working on a similar system, and they all cooperated with the US. Meanwhile, several companies were evaluated, but only Boeing Aerospace and Vought Corporation signed a contract to develop multiple prototypes and test them at the White Sands Missile Range in New Mexico. In 1978, the Army Missile Research and Development Command changed the program's name to Multiple Launch Rocket System, or MLRS, to produce the vehicle in the US and Europe. Vought's prototype was awarded the production contract 2 years later, and all the countries that participated became part of the system's official joint production. Using the Bradley. The new rocket system was first delivered to the US Army and its partners in Europe in 1983. Once introduced, it became known as the M270 MLRS because it used the M270 launcher platform, a derivative of the American M2 Bradley Infantry Fighting Vehicle, or IFV. The decision to develop the system using Bradley's platform obeyed a Cold War doctrine based on a possible Soviet invasion of Western Europe. To successfully fight off the enemy, the M270 vehicle had to be highly mobile to move through the ambiance and reach difficult locations, strike fast, and then hide from the enemy to reload before launching another coordinated attack. This shoot-and-scoot tactic was meant to avoid direct Soviet counter-battery fire, and the Bradley IFV's chassis was highly suitable for this way of fighting, as it was also developed to fend off the Soviets if Europe was ever invaded. In addition, the Bradley had excellent all-terrain and all-weather performance because it had to be able to carry a squad of 6 infantrymen anywhere on the battlefield. All-powerful. The M270 MLRS has several components, beginning with a launcher mounted on a lengthened M2 Bradley chassis known as the M993 carrier vehicle that forms the multiple launch rocket system. Meanwhile, the self-propelled loader and launcher is mounted on the Bradley chassis and comprises the M269 loader launcher module and the electronic fire control system. Following its cross-terrain capability, the M270 chassis is powered by an 8-cylinder Cummins VTA 903 diesel engine with a gas turbine output of over 600 horsepower. Coupled with an electronically controlled cross-drive turbo transmission system, the M270 can achieve speeds of up to 40 miles per hour with an estimated operational range of 400 miles. And its all-terrain running gear comprises 6 road wheels on each side, with 2 track return rollers. Overall, the M270 vehicle weighs over 61,700 pounds and has a length of 23 feet, a height of 8.5 feet, and a width of 9.8 feet. It also features an armored cab at the front of the hull, where the crew of 3, a driver, gunner, and section chief, can safely drive and fire the ordnance of the vehicle. Aluminum alloy armor protects the crew from small arms fire and fragments from projectiles, and like the Bradley, the entire cabin is shielded from nuclear, biological, chemicals to increase combat performance in contaminated sectors. The crew also has access to night vision equipment for night operations to always be ready under pitch-black scenarios or in ambiances with low light. Finally, the M270 can easily be transported by air aboard specific aircraft such as the C-5 transporter and train. Rocket system features. The M270's rocket launcher is basically 12 rockets divided into 2 6-rocket pods, and the launcher system mounted on the chassis is highly mobile, able to quickly turn and fire from the desired direction. The M270 can fire surface-to-surface rockets and the Army's ATACMS, or Tactical Missile System, while the Integrated Fire Control Computer allows the launcher to load and aim simultaneously. Impressively, the system can fire 12 rockets in less than a minute, and the ATACMS system also allows it to fire the Block 1 or Block A1 missiles. A standard missile fired by the M270 has a range of over 30 kilometers and carries over 640 lethal M77 munitions distributed mid-air above the desired area. This means that the M270 can deliver over 8,000 munitions in less than a minute to ensure that the combat zone is decimated during the barrage. Also, the rockets can be fired individually or in waves of 2. Thanks to the integrated computer, accuracy is always on point to ensure that every rocket wave impacts in the same direction. Other rockets employed by the system include the AT-2M rocket, which dispenses anti-tank mines, the extended range rocket, which has a range of over 45 kilometers, and the reduced range practice rocket. M270 combat tours. The M270 rocket system was deployed with the U.S. Army during Operation Desert Shield in September of 1990, with the vehicles employed by the Airborne Corps Artillery to defend Saudi Arabia from hostile Iraqi forces. Meanwhile, the M270s were the first American units to fire their devastating barrages into Iraqi soil during Operation Desert Storm. Once the conflict began, the vehicles were praised by soldiers from the 1st Infantry Division and the 82nd and 101st Airborne Divisions for providing highly accurate fire when dealing with the enemy. Following the 2003 invasion of Iraq, the M270s were once again sent to the Middle East to strike zones full of hostile forces, supply depots, and barracks. And the British, French, and Germans also deployed their own M270s during military operations in Afghanistan. The M270s were not retired from the conflict until the troops' withdrawal in 2021. Upgrades. The basic M270 MLRS has given way to numerous variants with specific characteristics according to the Army employing them. Many of the differences include upgraded fire control systems and the introduction of more powerful missiles. Many NATO allies and friendly nations have adopted the M270 as part of their mobile artillery systems, and besides Germany, France, the United Kingdom, and Italy, other countries such as Japan, Israel, Turkey, Denmark, and Norway also use this powerful multiple rocket launcher system. While the M270 is still widely used around the world, Lockheed Martin has partnered with Red River Army Depot to overhaul and upgrade the system with the M20A2 version. The model will feature a new engine, a zero-time launcher, and a more resistant armored cabin. More importantly, the M20A2 will include a new common fire control system, that will make it compatible with the unannounced MLRS family of munitions, or MFOM, taking the technology further into the future. Thank you for watching our video. Please like and subscribe to our Dark Documentaries channels to find more exciting historical content. And don't forget to hit the bell icon to be notified of our newest videos. Also, let us know what you think of the American multiple launch rocket system in the comments below. Stay tuned.